Today, Tiffany Cross once again was on point. She had a takedown on Bill Maher that is overdue. I loved Bill Maher in the earlier years, and I found him witty and he was generally on point. I don't know what happened to Bill Maher over the last few years. In fact, I don't watch him anymore because, again, I found that there is something different. It's almost as if he needed to change identity. There are people who say, oh, as you get older, you get more conservative. Well, as I get older, I get more progressive, more liberal because I get more frank, I get more fair, I get more everybody deserve what they're worth, etc. Let's listen to this Tiffany Cross takedown and we'll take it on the other side.
I did see the clip segment of him complaining about Lin-Manuel Miranda apologizing for the lack of Afro-Latino representation in his movie In the Heights.
You're the guy who made the founding fathers black and Hispanic. I don't think you have to apologize to Twitter. I mean, he's a Latino making a Latino movie with a Latino cast. Not good enough. Nothing is ever good enough for these people. They're like children.
Let's just address a few things. One, I thought it was not only gracious but appropriate for Lin-Manuel Miranda to acknowledge the perhaps unintentional colorism in his amazing film and then apologize for it. Two, anybody find it interesting that this quote-unquote liberal ally is sounding a lot like a moderate Fox News contributor? This is why allies get the side eye sometimes. And three, Bill Maher, you do not get to tell people of color what they should or should not be offended by. Maybe instead of trying to invoke sympathy for Sharon Osbourne or making sure Tommy Loren has a space to spouse her BS, you should have more diverse panels of people who can explain colorism to you and systemic racism and how these things still devastate people's lives and livelihoods today. Try that instead of standing on your alabaster perch every week to crap on other people's lived experience while providing a safe haven for well-established white supremacists. I think you're mistaking what's happening now as a revolution, the favoring of a new system, and look, perhaps you disagree with that. But this is yet another of your perspectives that's embarrassingly ignoring what's happening all around you that you're refusing to see. The truth is, what's happening now is an evolution, and you are fighting for your power and privilege to not become fossilized while basking in the rays of your own non-existent cleverness and comedy bits circa 3 decades ago. And quite frankly, it's just offensive at this point. The country, like it or not, is changing in real time. And sadly, fake time with Bill Maher is not. So perhaps it's time for you to take a step back and blow a 1/4 ounce of that green that you love so much, because clearly your thoughts have been lost in a white fog for far too long.
First of all, Tiffany didn't touch this, but I'm surprised she didn't. He said, nothing is ever enough for these people. Specifically, Bill Maher. Who are these people? But the second subject that is of concern is that he jumped into an issue that he knows nothing about, the colorization of the Latinx community. Why didn't he maybe ask his producers to ask questions? Miranda himself comes out and says, he implied I may have had some sort of implicit bias towards what I look at as Latino. Just like for a long time in America, Black folks have been invisible when it comes to many things. Just as well in the Latino community, Afro-Latinos have been invisible. A little quick example here. I'm on the board of several organizations. And this particular one, we had a subcommittee, a subgroup. And that subgroup comprised of a couple of white people and 3 Latinos, me being the Afro-Latino, another Latino that was of Mexican descent, another Latino of, fair-skinned Dominican descent. And we were talking several issues, and one time I were deciding, and by the way, I did represent this group on TV for a Latino Afro-Latino issue on TV that we did a little piece. But anyhow, during this discussion, it was something that we needed Latinos collaboration to do something. And one of the persons said, hey, other Latino on the group, since we are the only 2 Latinos in this group, maybe we should do this. I was invisible, right? I was invisible. The Afro-Latino there was invisible. And this person didn't do it out of malice. It was just implicit bias that also occurs in the Latinx community. The idea that Bill Maher would look at what else does these people want, the idea it is simply recognition for like everybody else. The fact of the matter is the only reason, first of all, Latinos as a group are speaking up, and specifically within that Latino group, Afro-Latinos are also speaking up, is because now there is the power to do it. The door is now more open for people to not accept what they had to accept in the past. So it is simple. As we mature as a community and as different groups get more power, they are less concerned about what would happen if they speak up. What they do is speak up. Bill Maher was completely out of his league. And I think what he should do is probably take a class and understand what is going on not only in communities in America, but communities in the Latinx community where it comes to colorization and much more. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.